How do we think with our heart? When we think something in yoga, we try not to think it in a very fixed intellectual way, in the way that we normally think our thoughts, but rather we try to let our thoughts become mental pictures, to become very alive, felt kind of pictures. And we could also describe it in such a way that we're learning to develop so-called soul sensations. There's a quote that Heinz Grill gives when he talks about developing these soul sensations. He says, soul sensations unfold an effect of movement, calmness, and form right into the physical body. There are so many different forms and shapes that we can think of when we do our yoga movements. So I'd like to stay particularly with this combination of movement, calmness, and form. Soul sensations unfold an effect of movement, calmness, and form right into the physical body. So we'll start again with the circle of the heart. So you can do this in a kneeling position, or you can do it in any comfortable sitting position with your back upright. Just to remind you, we're going to first think a thought, but the thoughts are felt in a way that we really feel them. And thus we can call them soul sensations. Soul sensations unfold an effect of movement, calmness, and form right into the physical body. Let's start by thinking the thought of the circle. You can start to let that thought become really a picture. And the picture is not only thought, but also felt as a soul sensation. Picture of a circle. And now, let's trace that circle. Calmness, movement, and form can come right into the physical body. We trace that circle, we think that circle, we picture the circle, we feel the circle, we sense it with the soul. And it brings calmness, movement, and form right into the physical body. So after this circle, when you finish, just rest your hands on your lap and just remain aware of your circle once again, which is thought, pictured, felt, sensed in the soul, and has an effect right into the physical body. A calm, moving form. Let's come to the sun prayer next. So on Friday, we did the sun prayer very slowly. Maybe we'll stay with that idea that we allow each movement to form itself calmly, but also to have a sense that as we hold the movements, they're still movements, even though they're being held. They're always growing. We had the thought on Friday of the movements becoming very long. Let's stay with long, calm, moving forms. So take your hands together. Take your arms up above the head. A long, moving and yet calm form, right up through to the fingertips. Take your hands down, bend forwards and look in. Take your right foot back. Let's form a base with the legs. Take the arms up. And let's grow again into this moving long form. Come into the flank. Knees, chest and forehead down. Slide forwards and open into the cobra. Curved form. Push into the downward dog, a triangular form, a long triangle. Take the right foot forward. With the legs, we form this bowl form, a long bowl. With the back and the arms, we form this crescent moon growing long. Take the hands down and step forward, looking in. And then come flowing up. And let's grow once again into this long, long flowing form, calm, moving form. Take the hands down. So we want to think these long forms, picture them, feel them, sense them in our soul. Let's take the hands together. A long form, flowing up, breathing freely. Take the hands down. Let's take the hands out this time so that you can grow outwards and think of that form of length right through the spine, through the arms, looking ahead a little bit to bring more of that length into this form. Then take the hands by your feet and look down again. Left foot back. Let's form this long form with the legs, the bowl, and then a long crescent growing up through the back and the arms and the fingertips. And then come into the plank. If you think of your neck being long, so your head is taken off the end of your body, let's just hold this one a little longer this time. It builds up a real strength if we hold it for longer, but also we can think of making a really long line through the body. Just keep the breath flowing. Then come back down. Coming down like this. And then sliding through, coming up into the cobra. A good curve. And then back into downward dog. Once again, let's hold this one for longer. It's a really good one to really extend. You can think of the long legs. And if you think of your chest coming towards your knees, it can bring a real length through the back and through the arms and through the shoulders. Think of the whole form of length, calm and yet moving form. The back grows longer and longer, your bottom going up. And your legs going down. Now take the left foot forward. Let's draw this, make this form with the legs. Curved bowl form, arms coming up, moving up. Long, long, long flowing form. And take the hands down and look in. Think of the legs being long again. And then a flowing movement right the way up. Breath flowing. Think of that long form. Right up through the backs of the legs, up through the spine, the upper spine, the arms up to the fingertips. And take the hands by your sides. I'd like to come to the scales. And we're going to do the scales twice, focusing on a different chakra each time. The first time, we're going to focus on the solar plexus. You all know where that is, stomach height, right in the middle of your body. So let's start just with a preparation where we think the form, picture the form, feel the form that streams out from the solar plexus in two directions. So we can come into this position. You've got the toes on the ground at the back. You take your awareness to the solar plexus and you picture that form that moves outwards. It's a calm, it's got calmness, movement and form. It streams out in two directions calmly from the solar plexus. Let the breath flow, growing longer and longer. This is actually very energizing and dynamic center, as if the whole body is perfused with energy. Come back down again. Let's do the same thing on the other side. A good step forward. Take your awareness to that solar plexus. Grow into your back leg and forwards through the upper spine, through the arms, as if energy perfuses right through the body in the two directions, really actively. And then return again. Let's just roll down and hang forwards. And come right the way back up to the standing half moon. Breathing, growing, lengthening a bit more. Take the hands down. Now we'll do the same thing in the horizontal line. So take one foot forward, step onto your front foot, take your awareness to the solar plexus, and then you can come into the scales, streaming outwards into your back leg, through the upper spine, through the arms, as if the whole body is being perfused once again by this energy. Calmness, movement, and form. Particularly the movement element is emphasized in this, the movement of energy in two directions out from the center. And then return again. Take the foot down. Grow upwards, lengthening, breathing, and take the hands down by your sides. And take the other foot forward a good step. Take your awareness to the solar plexus. Think of that movement. Come into the actual scales. The movement streams from the solar plexus outwards in the two directions, right through the body. Keep the breath flowing. And then return again. the foot down, lengthen up, breathing, and take the hands down. Once again, you can just roll down and hang forwards. And then swing right the way up once again. Take the hands down. So the second way of doing the scales focuses on the heart center, one chakra up. This one's a little bit more difficult, but you can notice how it has an effect. Even if you can't do it to a very great extent, what's important is how we're directing our attention differently and creating different thoughts, different mental pictures, and with that comes a different feeling, a different soul sensation. So this time we start with our awareness higher up here at the heart center, and we can again in a similar way think of the movement going backwards right from that upper spine through the body, but also upwards more into an opening of the chest. I'm going to demonstrate the movement first so that you can see how this one, it has more of a kind of opening, more of a curve in the body. So when I start, I'm taking my awareness to the heart center, and I'm picturing that movement growing from that heart center right through the spine into the leg. And now I open up forwards as well. So you can see it's got a bit of a lift in the upper body. And afterwards you feel very opened in this region. If you like to have a go, take the weight onto one foot. Take the awareness to this heart center now. Take the arms up. And now first of all think that from that upper part on your spine there, the movement grows all the way back into your leg. Right from the upper spine. And now also forwards. You can almost lift and open up your heart as you stream forwards, lifting up and opening out. There's a tensing almost between the shoulder blades. And then return again. Take the foot down and lift up your heart even more. Lift up the heart and let the arms just stream upwards. Take the hands down. Just be aware of how your breathing is, particularly around the chest area. And in and out of the chest. Right, let's change to the other side. Take the foot forward. Be aware of the heart center. And then you can raise the arms, and as you come back, just grow backwards from the heart center right through the spine. And now open up your chest. Open it up, right facing forwards, streaming out through the arms as well. Focusing on that gathering between the shoulder blades. Return again, take the foot down, lift up the heart even more as you stream upwards. Allow the breath to flow fully into the chest. Take the hands down and just remain aware of the breathing again in your chest area. Allowing it in its fullness. This position brings, we could say, a different kind of soul sensation from the previous one. Let's roll down. Finding that calmness. Neck and head relaxed. Shoulders and arms and hands relaxed. And roll back up once again. So the next movement that I want to come to is the camel. The camel is another very opening position. And it's another one, we started with the circle of the heart. It's another one where we can create circles. Before we actually do the camel itself, I want to come back to downward dog, which does the opposite. In downward dog, we close in. We form a triangle. So it's a real contrast to this open circle. We form a closed triangle. Your bottom forms the peak of the triangle. We'll do a long holding again of the downward dog. If you like to come up into the dog, think of your bottom forming the peak of the triangle. Stay with that thought. The thought is really pictured. A triangle with two long sides, your bottom forming the peak. The picture becomes a feeling. The feeling becomes a soul sensation. The soul sensation has the effect of bringing calmness, movement, and form right into the physical body. And then come back down onto your knees and come up onto your knees. Knees about hip width apart, like that. And now we'll start to make some circles, some open circles, which really contrast that closed form that we've just experienced. The circle can start to grow from this region, solar plexus, lengthening right up and right round. And the other side, open circles. Once again, we can picture this form. It's like a moving form. It has calmness, movement, form. Let's do a few of these. From the solar plexus, growing, opening, big expanding circles. Let's imagine that each circle becomes bigger than the last. And an even bigger circle once again on the other side, right the way up. Big, big circle. And the other side. And then eventually, as long as it's okay for your back to do so, you can come right the way around, taking your hands to your heels. If you wish, you can take your toes up so it's a bit less far to reach, or you can also, as you know, rest your hand on a support. If you've got a little stool or coffee table or something that you can put over your feet, you can do it that way as well. Otherwise, or you can come into the actual camel. So it's the same idea that we make a big circle, and now the circle completes itself in the actual camel itself. So when you're ready, taking one on, right the way around, picturing these great big circles, and then on the other side as well, you can grow and lift right up, making a huge circle, and eventually drop the head back. Come out of the movement in a flowing, dynamic movement, not too slowly, and come down into child's pose. and come back up to a sitting position. So we'll finish off with one final exercise that starts with movement and ends with a very calm form. And this is the face of the cow. You all know the final position, I think, where you take your hands behind your back. We start with flowing arm movements and then taking the arms flowing round through the space. Eventually they come to this closed form. So you can do it either kneeling or sitting with your legs crossed on the ground, or you can do it in the classical position, which is to fold one leg, one knee on top of the other knee. So that one's a bit more difficult. Make sure, whichever position you choose, that your spine is upright. Calmness, movement, and form. Let's start then with these flowing movements of the arms right up high. And then take one arm in a big circle again through the space around you. Take the hand between the shoulder blades. And then bend the other arm. Take the fingers if you can, otherwise take your shirt. And then we'll come to this calm form. Our main theme today is thinking with the heart. So we want to think the form. The form is now a vertical line. We've brought everything to the center. So we think of this vertical line that runs from the top of the head down to the base of the spine. We think this line. We also feel this line. It becomes a real soul sensation. It brings calmness, movement, and form right into the physical body. So we stay with that picture, that felt picture of the vertical line. That line comes right into the physical body with a calm form. Let's come back up again. And with the other arm, first of all, a wide circular movement through the space around you. The arm comes up between the shoulder blades. The other arm reaches into the space above you, folds itself down. You take the fingers if you can, or just your shirt. And once again, we come to our mental picture, the vertical line, which is represented by the spine. We think that line. It becomes a feeling. Centered line. Eventually it moves to become a soul sensation, which can unfold its effect right into the physical body, bringing calmness, movement, and form right into the physical body. Take both your arms up again and make a big circle and rest your hands in your lap. The sentence that we started with was, soul sensations unfold an effect of movement, calmness, and form right into the physical body. So we can finish our session there.